Hey guys, and welcome back to another YouTube video. In this video I'll be going through the cash cows for round 2, I guess, officially. Just need to check what I actually titled the first video for the cash cows. I know we did it in round 1. Yeah, it will be cash cows for round 2, so we'll do it for each episode. Not episode, for each round, not the sort of in between or whatever or after. So it'll be for round 2 this week, etc., and we'll move on that way. But before we get into the video, remember to like and subscribe, turn the notification bell on so you know when I upload, and let's get into the video. So as you can see here, I have it set up for 200k all positions and then set up by break even. And the lowest break even of anyone in the 200k range is Blake Howes at -14, and I do think he is pretty much needs to be in everyone's side. He is now 59.1% owned. If I make this just a little bit bigger, there we go. It is so big now that you should be able to see that. And yeah, he is just quality with the amount of cheap ball he gets. You can see here averaging 16.5 touches, 7 marks, 2 tackles, and a free kick for, and half a free kick against for 70 points, which is, just what we need. And if he can produce another one against the Hawks, where are they playing the Hawks? They're playing the Hawks at the MCG. I think he can produce again. And I think he is a great target for those who are looking at cash cows. And there are a couple more. I believe there are a couple that have ticked over into the 300k range as well that a lot of people don't probably own. And so Howes is definitely one that you should consider. Seth Campbell, -1 break even. I don't think you should really consider him as much just because of the role he has. It seems like he's going to be limited to 40 to 60 scores, and the potential 30 score. Like, he scored a 48, and that was basically off the back of kicking a goal right at the end of the game. If he hadn't done that and had the last quarter that he had, I think he would have ended up in the mid-30s. And that would have really stunted his growth. So I'm only expecting another 60k or so, 60k in total, probably for him to cash out in the end. But I'll probably cash out in another 30-40k after this round or next round. But yeah, I don't think you can jump on him now. But I think those who have jumped on him, I think you should stay on him unless you don't have Reed, Clark, or a lot of on-field issues. If you've escaped all of the on-field issues, then you can upgrade Seth Campbell, but I don't think you should be upgrading him just yet. Then we move on to Harvey Gallagher, another guy that I don't currently own and probably won't own just because the role is similar to Seth Campbell and we don't get the double upgrade of Seth Campbell, or the double price rise, And he does have a 2 break even, so I'm wondering, he does probably have a slightly better role, but I'm just wondering, with all their potential with McRae coming back and potentially them going other players, whether, given how bad the Western Bulldogs were, whether we see Harvey Gallagher still play. I still think he will get a game just because he was pretty good on debut, but we'll see with him. And I just don't think with that 2 break even, it's low enough for me to go there. Cadman, I think this was a play before when he was involved in opening round, and then before the first lockout. 221k then, and I think he is going to probably have a good game against the Eagles and probably go up to 300k, but outside of that I don't see him being much use yet, so a lot of people will be dumping him after next week. I wouldn't be grabbing him this week. Charlie Dean, another guy that I have considered because of probably with Reed and the news with that, but I think there are better options than Charlie Dean just because of his position and playing more of an accountability role. So I probably won't be going there, and I'll probably be hunting another defender. But I wouldn't be surprised if some people go down the route of Charlie Dean, as he has had a 44 and a 50 odd. A 36 and a 51. So he has shown that he can somewhat score, but I don't think it will lead to those big cash cow type of price rises we expect, like we got out of McKercher, Roberts, etc. We're not going to get that out of Charlie Dean. We're going to get more of those 20k long-term investments type of growth. Next one, Darcy Wilson. I think a lot of people have him in their side. He's 55% owned. He looks like a jet, another one of those wingers that's going to debut, and sort of wingers can play young, and that's the good thing about it. And so wingers are generally going to have these 60, 80, they sort of always locked in around the same average overall. They slightly do improve over time as they get older, but they're generally going to be 60 guys or 55 guys, but they're going to have such volatility. Like, I would expect him to score well against the Magpies because it's at the MCG, but against the Bombers at Marvel, that could be a dud game for him where he scores 40 or so as they just go down the other wing because it's so slim there that switching doesn't happen as much. So that is my concern about wingers, and so Darcy Wilson is sometimes not a fieldable option, I don't think, even though it seems so weird to think of that way. But he also is playing a small forward role and had 2 goals. But yes, I would be grabbing him up if you had a lot of other good options already sorted, like Sharp, like Dempsey, that we'll get to. And then Darcy Wilson was one you left out. McMullen, I don't think is there. He had the sub and then didn't play round 2, and so he's not a good option. Hewland is playing a lockdown, so he's going to occasionally have games of 45-50, but I feel like he's going to average sort of that 35-40 range, and that's just not going to get you the price rises you want. Chris Burgess, key forward, no thank you. Harvey Thomas didn't really... he got a 35, which was better than his 18, but again, I think he's just a small forward that is not really going to do much, to be honest with you. Toby Pink, a key defender. I don't like the look of that, to be honest, too much. Then you have Bailey Laurie, who is I think he's playing a small forward again. A lot of these small forwards debut early, but you need to not fall into the trap because they're a small forward. They get almost a graveyard shift in terms of fantasy where they get, basically, if they don't kick a goal, they're going to be strapped to a 20-40 because they're not going to get too many possessions. They're not really going to, and a lot of them aren't really that big, so they're not really going to get those tackling numbers that you really hope out of them, like potentially a Wicks who was getting 5 or 6 tackles. He was one of the outliers. A lot of them layered about 2 to 3 tackles, so there's not really much points generation through that. And they don't really kick as many goals as a key would, so or young forwards anyway do, so I don't think they're too much of an option. And more of a bench option, if anything, if you have those type of guys. And then Mano we saw come on, he may be a player that actually starts next week, but I would wait another week and then jump on him as his break even is still 23. Then we move on to the 300 to 399 Ks, and this one should go relatively quick. Roberts, if you don't have him already, I don't know what you were doing. 40% owned, yeah, he looks perfect. And yeah, so a lot of my preseason saying he wasn't going to be there, obviously had to change as I think he's sort of taken over the Lloyd role, and it's to the point now where you actually have to consider, is Lloyd going to be there for the Swans in, well, not even 12 months time, in the next couple of weeks when Parker and Adams return, because I do think Adams will be best 22. There's no way that we brought him over and have said, oh, now that Heaney is a good midfielder, you're not going to play. I think I think Adams will play. It's just a matter of what is the role's going to be. And it could be that Chad Warner now becomes more of a forward, a mid-forward, and you also have Parker playing full-time forward, but I don't think you're going to see Roberts dropped because he's just a much better defender than Lloyd. Ollie Dempsey, I hyped this up in pre-season, and I texted my mate saying, like, yeah, watch out for him, he's going to do well. I just saw the numbers of Ollie Dempsey, and I was like, this is going to do well. And then because Ori Schoenmaker didn't get a debut, basically meant that I couldn't get, that I had to go read. If Ari Schoenmaker debuted, I would have gone Ari Schoenmaker, Jeremy Sharp, and also the likes of Ollie Dempsey. And I would be sitting here pretty at the moment, to be honest with you, with basically having, then I would have been able to do some other stuff. And so, yeah, I'm not trying to give it away because I don't want people to copy me, as I've seen with some people doing that. So I'm not going to give away any of my trade plans at the moment. And that pretty much sucks for you guys because I'm going to have to give you scenarios of what I potentially will do with my side when I do my preview, until I know that the people that are trying to copy me aren't copying me anymore, or to the extent that I want it to be. So that's when I'll return to a full side again reveal, when I know that they're not copying me. Colby McKercher, 94, perfect cash gen, he's fine, 343k. He'll go now with 20, what was his break even to start, it was probably 297k. Let me check a 297k. Price 297k. Cardi Michael 37 break even. It wasn't 37, I can tell you that. I can actually just check that out now. So it was 297k. 297 divided by the magic number that we had. 297 divided by that. Times by 100. Times by that. He had a break even of 33. So if you know that he had a break even of 33 and he still went up 46k and now has a 36 lower break even. So he had a break even of 33, break even gap of 61, and he went up 46k, meaning that roughly the increase is roughly per point. It is roughly a 750 coin increase. So every break even point he goes up, but every break even point positive, it's a 750 coin improvement. So if he goes 94 again, that'll be a 90-70, and he should be looking at a 75 price rise if he goes 94 again. So that just shows you how big these secondary and third price rises can be for rookies. So getting them right is absolutely huge, and that's why I'm sort of almost gutted that I have to miss out on Dempsey, to the point that I'm almost willing to hold Zach Reed for a week just to get in Ollie Dempsey for his price rise. So that is something I'm almost tempted to do, is hold him for a week just to get this secondary price rise, to then go to hopefully, and it all depends on what we get in terms of rookies. If we get a rookie distributor defender, then I'll probably actually go for Dempsey. But if we don't, I probably will have to trade out Zach Reed, is my just general thoughts. Tom Berry, I think it's too late with him. It's 378k. I think it's way too late. I almost think it's too late on a lot of these guys that are basically over about 325k. Unless it's one of these major rookies in Colby McKercher that you've got to grab in. Jeremy Sharp, I don't think it's too late for him. Neither do I think it's too late for Riley Sanders. Carroll, I think it's too late in AFL Fantasy, but if you follow along with me in my Supercoach, I've debated whether getting him in this week or next week, just because of the bye. It's the only debate I have there, and the return of Sam Walsh. So I need to check out the Carlton injury list to see what's to go there. But yeah, so just quickly going through, we said Tom Berry too expensive. Caleb Windsor, I think you can just get Jeremy Sharp, to be honest with you. Similar role. I think Jeremy Sharp's is more of a defensive winger type role, which is going to score better in a more chip mark system. And I think also that they're both the same price. Sharp's got the better break even. Sharp also doesn't have the buy, so the only thing going for Windsor is that he's a forward, but I think you have enough forwards in Billings and Billings, Jordan, Fife, Heaney, Jackson, Flanders, Reed, Lazaro, Dempsey. They're all there that you don't need to go for the likes of Windsor. Sanders, then you have Marty Hoare, another guy that I've basically considered. I really like, but he does have a 20 break even, which is a little bit annoying. It's almost like he's not going to go up too much. So that's why I'm almost considering just disregarding Zach Reed for a week, because he's not going to get too far away from me. If he scores a 60, he goes up 30k, and I still am able to grab him next week. So that's why I'm considering it. Harley Reid, 316k, 22 break even. Yep, he looks good, and his role is good. Zane Dersma took 2 goals to get him to a 52 and a 23 break even. I wouldn't be considering him. I would be jumping off, to be honest with you, with him, as I think there are much better forwards for you to gain cash, and it's a direct swap to almost a better break even player in Dempsey compared to Zane Dersma, who I don't think will ever get underneath the 0 break even. Nick Cox playing a key defender role halfway through the game, and it looks like he may play a key defender role rather than the wing. I'd rather stay clear of him at 395k, as I don't think he's a major scorer. Lazaro, 303k, 22 break even. I probably wouldn't jump on Lazaro, but I wouldn't jump off him, because I think he gets another 50 score and another 50 score, and that break even starts to hover around 10 to 15. And that's when he starts to make some good 30k price rises week in, week out, and gets up to that 450k around that round 8, round 9. I think that's sort of what we're looking at for Charlie Lazaro. Jameson, no. Caulfield, 44. I'm just hoping he pumps a bigger score, because he is definitely on the chopping block for me in the next couple of weeks, depending on what I do. So yeah, we'll watch him, monitor him. But Nick Caulfield, 361k, 44, and a 41 break even. He basically did nothing. So yeah, that was a bad call by me this week. But we'll see if he can turn it around. And then basically that's about it for the 300kers and the 400kers. I don't think there's many cash generation necessarily assets or in terms of players in there. I guess you could say Sexton, but he's probably gotten too far away from you guys if you don't have him. And 50% owned, so yeah, a lot of people own him. 60, 70 scored, so he was absolutely fine. And 22 break even, he's going to get another 30, 40k cash gen, I reckon, at least before his buy. So if you even considered trading him out at his buy, he'd be 490k. Whereas I'm going to probably hold him until about round 7 and then just upgrade him almost directly, probably to Flanders through another rookie. And that'll get me to Flanders at top if I don't have Flanders already by then. Or potentially upgrade him to another guy like Caleb Daniel and McRae are going to gun down in price, which is a good thing. What is Daniel's price now? He's probably in the 700kers now, given that he's subbed. Caleb Daniel, 776k. I reckon he'll be back on the best 22, I think. And so just a little bit off topic with that, I think he's going to cannon down in price to around 700k and be back on the best 22 and average sort of that 90 range, which will be top 6, but we get him at a discount price because they decided to sub him. Then you have Judd McVie. I don't think you can jump on him. None of these guys you can really jump on because of the break even. And then we go to 500, but when we go to 500k, we start going into the actual sort of trade targets. So I'm going to leave that for the trade targets video. But anyway, so wrap up this video. We had sort of the main sort of rookies in Sanders, McKercher, Roberts, Sharp, Dempsey are all very good options. And yeah, you just got to look at them and just decide who's going to be the better scorer based on role, based on, I guess, opposition. Technically, ground could have a little bit of a say, but I reckon it's just based on role because a lot of them are, you may pick a guy because he has a good break even of like a -5 or it is below 10, but he plays that small forward graveyard shift or has a buy in the next couple of rounds, and you really shouldn't be selecting them over another pick that might be have like maybe 5 or 10 more break even, but has a better job security, better role, etc. No buy. So you just got to weigh up all the options, and I think that's how you come to the point of getting those trades in that are good and quality trades. But anyway, we'll do our trade targets video. I'll record it after this, and they'll both be uploaded on the Wednesday. They're currently being recorded on Tuesday afternoon. So yeah, you'll see those on Wednesday, and then you'll have Thursday, you'll have predictions and team previews for round 2. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the trade targets video. Bye guys.